welcome back to another CYT-Crypto episode. Today we'll be looking at the Bitcoin price. Why did it drop by $550 in a matter of minutes? We'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at the charts for Bitcoin. We'll be looking at the markets overall, see what's happening overall. It's kind of a red day, obviously, for obvious reasons. And we'll look at a couple of news headlines as well. We have a market capitalization of 237 billion. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I kind of woke up this morning. I thought the market cap was going to be way down, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Bitcoin dominance up slightly to 66.4%. We'll see who the winners and losers are just now. We have Sealy is up 8.7%. Not a lot. You can see it's a red day. 8.7, Theta, Bitcoin SV, Stellar, and Waves are the only. They're not even notable, to be honest, apart from maybe Sealy. That is up. That's up big time from where it was last year, actually. And Sealy, that's the one we kind of looked at last year as well, the beginning of last year. But nothing much else. We've only got about 10%, if that, 10% in the green, just made in the green. Loser, Steam, 13%, Nervos Network, 12%. That's the only two in double-digit reds, which is not bad at all. So still a red day in USD. We'll look at BTC, and we'll see it's a little bit different. So probably 50-50, green and red, and Satoshi value. So that tells you that the Bitcoin USD value has gone down quicker than people are actually selling. So it's not necessarily that they're selling, it's just because the Bitcoin price is down. Always remember that, and I'll always kind of start with that as well. So it's a kind of red day in the markets in USD terms. We'll look at the gainers and losers. Rankings. I know we've looked at that at the top 100, but this is across the board. So we've got SIX is up 127%, Euclid Coin is up 95%, PathHive, Ubique Chain of Things is up 45%, Soma, Pack Global up 38%, not by that much. Euclid Coin 95% on 1.6 million volume, that's good. SIX, I haven't heard of, 637,000. That's doing well. What's done well over the last 7 days? GameStars, we've seen Cloak Coin, Future Coin, Ubique, Golden is up, Euclid, 0x Bitcoin, Mekon Cash, all up over 100% over the last hour. Future Coin, 6, All Best ICO, and Euclid Coin, 10%. So not that much. Not been a brilliant day today. Bitcoin price plunges to 8,400 in minutes. Is this the end of the bull rally? So Bitcoin bears have just scored the first major victory this January after the price of Bitcoin plunged 8% at 11 UTC. The price of BTC crashed to as low as 8,461 on Bitstamp Crypto Exchange. Top cryptocurrency is currently trading at 8,665. So that gives us a chance to look at this, what I wanted to show you as well. So this is the minute chart on Bitcoin. You can see here it was at 9,028, and within 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, it went down to 8,460. So that's a drop of $562 over the space of 4 minutes. Now that is a big seller that's done that. Now, if you call it market manipulation or somebody looking to make money, it's up to yourself what you call it, but it's still a kind of big drop there. And I think it amounted to about $106 million worth. And we'll just see there. Plunged 7.91%, reaching its intraday high of 9,188, emboldened for bulls. As a result, more than 106 million worth of longs has been liquidated on the derivatives exchange BitMEX in the last 6 hours, according to data provided by DataDash. So what does that mean? So really what that means is if this kind of falls down, so what happens is you've got longs in the market, you've got people who are saying, okay, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to go into it and I think it's going to go long and I'm going to stay there, but I want to have my stop loss round about, maybe they'll have it round about maybe 8,800. So they might have had a stop loss round about here, 8,800, and as soon as it hits that, that's them kind of out of the game. They get stop lost, and essentially it's a sell in the marketplace because they have to sell to buy back. So they've sold that, and that kind of pushes the price down even further, and it goes down even further, and then other longs have kind of hit, and they've been having to been sold off as well. So that's why it keeps going down and down and down, and then eventually kind of stabilizes, which it is doing just now. So that's what's happened here. There's been a short sell-off, which has liquidated a lot of the longs in the market. That's why it's went down so quickly. So if you think in a space of 4 minutes that we're being manipulated, it's because the longs have been liquidated as well. Somebody they've sold off big time. They've sold off a hell of a lot, but they've liquidated the longs within this kind of space. So not good, obviously, for those that had longs on kind of BitMEX and other platforms as well, but obviously good for the shorters who kind of initiated this. So we're kind of stabilizing just now, and we're trying to find a feet back again. So 8,600 seems to be that level just now for Bitcoin. So where could it go from here? We'll just go back to the daily. So we're going to go to the daily just now. We're still within this. You can see here we were on a downward kind of spiral there. So we're in a down channel there, or a descending channel for Bitcoin. We have been for the last 7 months, and we kind of broke out of that on the 13th of January, which is good, and we've held that line. So we're now using this line as a support line. So this was previously the upper resistance line of the descending channel. It's now being used as support. So this is good. This is a good thing. I see this as a kind of bullish sign that's been used as support. We can see there can touch 8,451, then kind of bounce back up. It could come back down again today to around about 8,350. What we don't want is it coming back in to this channel. We don't want that. So if it does fall into this channel or come back in around about 8,100, that would be more of a bearish sign. We've also got obviously the 200 MA here, this purple line here. You can see that. I'm just making sure that's 200. Yep, that's a 200-day moving average, the 200 period moving average. It just so happens we're on the daily, but that's a simple moving average. We kind of pushed above that, and then we kind of came straight back down again. So what we need to do is break above this 200 MA. Once we do that, it's going to be even more bullish for Bitcoin. Sorry about that. Phone's going off, going a bit mental. So it's going to look even more bullish once we get past that, but we have to kind of stabilize here and just calm everything down. Just say, okay, we're fine, everything's good. Where's the support line? We have to kind of look at the supports. So we're going to go, it's probably around about these levels actually. So 8,370 would be a support line here, around about that level. We'll look at that. We'll just go to the weekly and get better supports. Yeah, it's around about these levels. 8,300 I would say is a good support level there. But if you look on the weekly as well, that gives us nicely into the weekly. We've kind of bounced through this descending channel, got through it, and we're still outside of that descending channel and using this as support, hopefully, which is still good. On the weekly, the 70 MA has crossed over the 50 MA. We're still bullish there as well, so that's another still a good bullish sign here. And this to me is just a pullback, just a slight pullback. That's all it is, and I think we could still do well with Bitcoin, unless we fall below this kind of 8,300 level, and this would be a support area for me kind of on the daily. If we're looking at that on the daily, the support level around about the 8,300. So unless it fell below that, I think we're safe just now. So we'll need to wait and see what happens. But I think a lot of people will go in with the longs with a little bit of trepidation for Bitcoin, because they just don't know where it's going to go just now. So we'll probably need to wait a couple of days till it finds its price, and then we'll kind of see more what's going to happen there. So if you're looking for a buy-in, I wouldn't say it's a buy-in just now. I wouldn't say that it's a selling point or a buying point just now. It's just a kind of wait and see just now. So that just answers your question, Stuart, as well. That's what I'm thinking. Obviously, do your own research and all that, but it's not a buying price. There's not a selling price just now. Literally could go either way just now, which is not good. I'm more bullish than bearish just now. There are more bullish signs than bearish signs, and I'd still be bullish even if it fell to 8,300, and even more bullish if it kind of bounced. Sorry, I'd still be bullish if it fell to 8,300, and even more bullish if it bounced from that area and kind of gone up again. So I'm still on the bullish side for me, but there's both kind of sides of the argument you can look at there. So that kind of ties in with that news story. Got Bitcoin, a gold bug. Peter Schiff loses all of his Bitcoin, says there's zero chance he forgot his password. This is kind of unbelievable. I don't know if you've seen this story. That Peter Schiff has got a Bitcoin wallet, and I'm just going to show you because I've seen the tweet this morning, then I've seen the news story. Where the hell's the tweet? Yeah. I just lost all of the Bitcoin I ever owned. My wallet got corrupted somehow. My password is no longer valid. So now not only is my Bitcoin intrinsically worthless, there's no market value either. I knew owning Bitcoin was a bad idea. I just never realized it was this bad. Now, there's reasons why he's done this. Obviously, this is to get him back in the limelight again, just to say this and telling everybody else that doesn't own Bitcoin or who are on the fence about Bitcoin that this is a bad idea to invest in Bitcoin. This is why the only purpose of this tweet is the only purpose, because essentially it makes him look stupid. It really does make him look stupid, and just says, error decrypting wallet, please check that your password is correct. Now, he goes on to say, Anthony Pompliano kind of responds, translation, you forgot your password. Same thing happens to your email if you're irresponsible and forget your password, Peter. But Peter comes back, I did not forget my password. Read my tweet. My wallet forgot my password. My wallet forgot my password. That's how silly this person is, Peter Schiff. So he's just made himself look stupid. However, a lot of people are going to see that, who are on the fence about Bitcoin, and say that's that. I knew stuff like this would happen. I'm not going to get into the tech side of Bitcoin. I'm not going to get a wallet. Why do I need kind of all that? If I lose my password or my wallet forgets my password, as Peter Schiff has said, they just won't get into Bitcoin. So he's kind of he might have achieved that. He's also not afraid to look totally and utterly stupid, which he has done with this tweet, but to his own ends. And it's to obviously get people to buy more gold, because he's into gold big time. So that's the only reason for that tweet, just to really say how bad an idea that Bitcoin is. So somebody had gifted him the Bitcoin way back in the past. I don't know if you remember that story. Somebody had gifted it to him and gave him the details, but he's saying the wallet has forgot his password. He's not forgot his password, the wallet has forgot his password. So what a donkey, to be honest. But there's a reason why he's tweeted out. You have to remember that as well. So it's just going on to kind of talk about this. This is Lolly. Hey Peter Schiff, we partnered with Udemy so you can learn how to use a computer and earn Bitcoin. 13.5% sats back at the same time. So I thought that was quite funny as well from Lolly. Eric Verhees, CEO of crypto exchange platform Schiff, just says he originally helped Schiff get set up with a Bitcoin wallet in 2018. Here's what happened. After debate in 2018, we went to dinner. Peter had never used Bitcoin before. I helped him set up a wallet on his phone, Edge or BRD. Told him to secure it if he ever held significant value on it. Gave him $50. He forgot password and never recorded phrase. He emailed me a day ago about it. I wasn't going to embarrass him on the interwebs, but then he posts this. If I gave him an ounce of gold and he dropped it on the sidewalk, would he similarly condemn the precious metal as a foolish monetary system? So that was Eric Verhees as well. So just an arse, basically. Another arse in the crypto space. But Vitalik Buterin sides with Peter Schiff, claims crypto wallets need better security. They do need better security, but this was not the kind of point of it. If Vitalik Buterin had kind of seen through that tweet, I don't think he would have kind of put this out. But he just kind of used this as an entry to say, yeah, Bitcoin does need better security for the wallets as well. Bitcoin's price action remains in line with 2014 bear market. So the bears could remain in control. An uber bullish scenario. If Bitcoin's 8% drop that took place on January 19 wasn't depressing enough for the bulls, there's still another chart that could make them postpone buying a Lambo this year. So cryptocurrency trader Nebraskan Guna has noticed that Bitcoin's current price action is uncannily similar to the 2014 bear market, in which BTC tanked from $931 to just $310 in the span of 1 year. So he's saying it's very similar to kind of what happened back in 2014. I don't think you should put too much stock in that, but obviously people are going to kind of pay attention to this. And they're saying that bears could remain in control if Bitcoin follows the same pattern this year. Its price could drop below 4,000 by November, which could be a huge slap in the face for those who believe that the forthcoming halving event could potentially propel the BTC price to a new all-time high this year. So they're just looking back at history. I think if you're bearish, you're going to find bearish scenarios. You're going to find bearish historical scenarios as well with which to compare it to. If you're bullish, you're going to do the same. You're going to find bullish indicators to prove your point. So nobody's right, nobody's wrong, nobody can tell what the future is. So you have to make up. You really do have to make up your own mind. And the only question to ask yourself is not, is Bitcoin going to go up? If Bitcoin goes up to $100,000, it means it's going to survive. If Bitcoin goes down to 4,000 or 1,000, it means it's probably not going to survive. So the only question you should be asking yourself when you're going to make an investment into Bitcoin is, will Bitcoin still be here in 10 years' time? That's the only question you need to ask. If you don't fundamentally believe that Bitcoin will not be here in 10 years' time, do not invest in it. Trade it by all means, but do not invest in it. Do not think, okay, this is going to be here for the next 5 years, then it's going to disappear. Just don't invest in it if you don't think it's going to be here in 10 years' time. If you fundamentally and truly believe that it is going to be here in 10 years' time, and it is going to make a huge difference to the way we do finance, and the way we do business online, and the way we do everything online, not just blockchain, but Bitcoin. I'm talking about Bitcoin itself, either as a cryptocurrency or as a store of value. If you do not believe that, don't invest in it. If you do believe in it, invest in it, hold. Do not worry about these little peaks and troughs. That's all they are, they're peaks and troughs. Look at this Bitcoin chart again, and look at this on the monthly. So look at this on the monthly. Do you see here, right, I'm just going to take these off just now. You can see on this monthly chart the $600 drop. And it's still bullish. It's still a green candle here. So you don't see the peaks and troughs. These little $600 drops, and that's all they are. They seem big just now because 78% of the total value of kind of Bitcoin just now. But in the grand scheme of things, they are not big drops or big rises actually as well. Let me take all these off. That's something I was looking at before. So you can see we've gone from 230 to 20,000. We're still very much in a bull market just now. And these little peaks and troughs do not matter at all. You're talking about long term. Think about long term. Don't think short term. And don't sell all your Bitcoin just because it's gone down $600 just now. Yes, it might go down to $5,000, but you're thinking long term. That's what we have to do. Right, Bitcoin's next peak may only be 80,000, says Analyst. Only 80,000. So this is from Josh Rager. The next Bitcoin peak will not be as high as most people think. Lots of analysts out there point from 100k to 300k to 1 million. Simple rate of return will show you bottom to peak return reduces by around 20% each cycle. In my opinion, next high hits 75k to 85k. So that said, the analyst who is following almost of 63,000 still predicts a high of around 80,000. And this would be some feat as BTC would need to surge by over 800% from current levels to get there. And the time frame wasn't mentioned in that post, but looking at the chart puts it sometime next year. And further down the thread, he estimated between 2021 and 2023. Take profit, don't be greedy. That's another thing as well. If Bitcoin, so I've been looking at my kind of, not an exit price, but a price to take profit at for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin ever gets to around about 50,000, that's the price I'll be looking to take a profit at. So if it gets to 50,000, I'll probably come out of Bitcoin, wait and see what happens. And then if Ethereum's still low, probably buy Ethereum as well with that, the kind of profits from that. But you have to have a kind of an exit plan as well. And you could ladder out as well. Once it goes to 20k, take some out. Once it goes to 30k, take some out. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You could do that as well. Or do the old lady strategy, every kind of 100%, take half out. So yeah, take profit, don't be greedy as well. We've all learned from 2018. Well, hopefully we've all learned from 2018 if you're around in 2018. I certainly have, and I will be taking profit from Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin's advantages highlighted by huge global gold repatriations. So this is the kind of movement of gold. It's talking about the kind of billions of dollars worth of gold that has to be moved in tons. So other more recent efforts will have required no less effort on the part of repatriators. Holland's reserves weighed around 122 tons. When Poland moved its gold back from the Bank of England last November, it had similar weight to transport. So it has to transport gold into its own country when they're kind of taking it back. Germany and Turkey, on the other hand, held much larger reserves at the Federal Reserve. In fact, Germany's repatriation efforts were on such a large scale they began in 2013. Ships brought the last 100 tons of 743 from New York in August 2017. Similarly, Turkey moved 220 tons in the same year. So just to try and move kind of gold, and the tonnage that they're talking about costs millions, possibly billions of dollars to move it, when kind of Bitcoin, it literally costs dollars to move $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So moving Bitcoin versus gold, with its finite total supply, Bitcoin offers a similar value proposition to gold. However, thanks to its purely digital nature, it improves in precious metal by being massively more portable, easy to store and divisible, and many people have therefore argued before the Bitcoin functions as a digital gold. I still kind of believe that just now. And I still think that is the case. Already the growth of the trust network has seen several large periods of market expansion from just fractions of a cent per Bitcoin in its infancy, and each Bitcoin now trades for more than 8,500. So it goes on to kind of talk about that as well a wee bit. So I do still like it as a store of value, but I'm hoping with the Lightning Network and everything else, it's going to become a cryptocurrency, its intended kind of purpose as well. Okay, we're going to look at the main story of today. And this is about kind of Nicholas Merton. I don't know if you've seen him before. DataDash, got a brilliant YouTube channel.
Here's
love
what
it.
I found.
That's Siri. Thinking I've said something. 1 second. So this is Nicholas Merton from DataDash. If you've not checked out his channel, definitely check out his channel. Brilliant channel he's got. And he's saying Bitcoin and altcoins approaching the largest cycle yet. Bitcoin heading to $100,000 by crypto analyst DataDash. So he's saying on a new episode of DataDash, Merton says he believes Bitcoin will hit 100,000 in its next cycle and will increasingly get exposure in the mainstream as it breaks through its previously all-time high of just over $20,000. I think we're going to hit $20,000, possibly 2021, but I think we're going to break through quite easily when we do break through it. But I don't think it's going to be in the next couple of months, but I do think it's going to be towards the end of the year or beginning of 2021. But I think it's going to break through quite easily. It's not going to hit 20,000, come back down again. I think it's going to go shooting up to about 25,000 and possibly come back down from there, then start moving up again. So Merton says a comparison between the crypto markets and the dot-com bubble offers a glimpse at how Bitcoin's market cap could go in the long run. So from that cycle, you had a valuation of about 17 to 18 trillion at the peak of the dot-com bubble. Don't know if you remember that back at the end of 1999 and 2000. And this is very important and significant to take into mind because we're talking about equities. And the important thing to note about equities is they are dwarfed by currency markets. And that's what cryptocurrencies are. They're an emerging currency and speculative asset class. So you get all the great speculation of assets like you did with tech stocks, but you also get the absolute size and scale of currency markets and storing value. So it's saying it's a kind of hybrid between these markets. You get the store of value aspect that was seen in gold and silver, which is about 7 to 8 trillion market, $8 trillion market today. But you also get as well, if you take that into account of the mark of the scale here, we're sitting at 160 billion market cap. We just talked, just as comparison, to the peak of the dot-com bubble around 17, 18 trillion. And he's talking about Bitcoin going to 16 trillion. If you kind of look at the peak of the dot-com bubble, he's saying, but Merton says he's not expecting Bitcoin to reach those valuations in this cycle. His target for the next bull run is 2 trillion market cap. So 2 trillion market cap from here is 10x essentially from here, or around about 12x from here. So I've already told you guys my expectation is that we're going to $100,000 in this cycle, which will mean that we're likely to go somewhere around 2 trillion, give or take. And that's not that crazy to ask for. And to think that an emerging store of value, an emerging speculative play on a global scale, and something that could be perceived as a hedge for a lot of people in currency markets in all kinds of different nations where it's needed, that could be a very reasonable valuation. And I tend to totally agree with what Nicholas has said there. And if you've not checked out DataDash, definitely check out his channel. It's a brilliant channel as well. I love his kind of analysis of the overall market. It looks at the macro view as well as a micro view as well. So thanks for watching. Last one out, hit the likes, and until next time, namaste. Take care. Bye now.